What's up, everybody? It's your old pal, Dan Hall. Today we're putting both Stop & Shops in my hometown of Quincy, Massachusetts, head-to-head in the great Stop & Shop Showdown. If you're from Quincy, you know that we have two Stop & Shops in the city. One located at 495 Southern Artery and the other 65 Newport Ave. Today we're just judging off of regular old vibes inside. Size, parking lot, and just the overall feeling. It's not like they don't have food the other one has, you know what I mean? But they do have different feels. But first, let me take you all the way back to Somerville, Massachusetts, where this small little family named the Rabinowitz family started a little grocery store called Greenie's Groceries, and then that became Economy Grocery Stores Company, and then later on that became Stop & Shop. Stop & Shop was one of the first places in New England to really adopt this, self-serve aisles, carts, stuff like that. Back in the day, you'd just go to the grocery store, you'd give the guy a list, and then he'd be like, yeah, we don't have pork chops or beans or applesauce, so you can't eat dinner tonight, unfortunately. Stop & Shop was like, why don't we give the power to the customer? They were like, hey, you know what? Get it yourself. Go grab it. It's down aisle 5. Today's Stop & Shop has over 400 locations, and 2 of those are in Quincy, Massachusetts. Let's get into which one was better. First up, we got 495 Southern Artery, the one in that mix of all that madness. You got the original Dunks over in the corner, which used to be a CVS and a Dunkin' Donuts that was all connected. This one's a little smaller than the North Quincy one. It's not as long or as broad. I don't know. There's just a bit of a tighter feel in there. The parking lot, pulling on and off of Southern Artery into the parking lot and out of the parking lot, it's not the greatest, but the parking lot does have multiple entrances. There's always ample parking there. So right there, pretty good. There are a lot of crazies around this Stop & Shop. Due to the vicinity it's in, there's a lot of stuff going on around there. And then also, here's the other reason, I don't want to run into people I know. When I go food shopping, I like to, and then walk around and just kind of look at everything and all the colors, and I listen to a podcast. I don't want to have the, hey, how you doing? Oh, yeah, it's so nice. Yeah, I still do. Yeah. I hate doing that with every fiber of my being, and there's way more likely of a chance that it's going to happen here than at the other one. I like the layout of this one. It's like any other grocery store. All the produce on one side, the deli, in the seafood section, the lobsters, I will say they looked a little sad in there in this one. I don't know. The lighting is just not as modern as I want it to feel inside of a grocery store. There's way more like track lighting in other ones. I want it to feel more like a Whole Foods. You know what I mean? Whoever figured out that lighting for supermarkets, Whole Foods, Wegmans, that vibe, I'm loving that vibe. It's very homey and cozy feeling. This one doesn't necessarily have that. The location itself is nice. It's just a little behind on the times in terms of the vibe of it. There's a lot more carriages with wheels that are all messed up and stuff. You can tell it's kind of, fading in terms of look because all of the checkout numbers, self-checkout 13, self-checkout 14, those lights are like completely out, or like very, very dim, which is also how I feel about this Stop & Shop. Also in the back, like towards the deli, it's always crammed back there. Even if there aren't that many people there, it's a very crammed, like I said, it's a little smaller than the North Quincy one, and it is a little noticeable. Not like Trader Joe's cram, but when you get over by the poultry and the meat section, you're really bouncing off of those center freezers where they keep like Bubba Burgers in. It's also only open until around 11 p.m., 10 p.m. It's not open all night like the 24-hour ones are, which I need sometimes. I like to go to the grocery store late when no one's there. I got a DiGiorno pizza. Not great. That was like one of my first times having DiGiorno, if you can believe it. I did not like it. I'd honestly rather a Stop & Shop store brand pizza or a Cape Cod. Those are the best ones. DiGiorno I'll probably never buy again. It was underwhelming to say the least. Their marketing lied. Marty here was killing me. Oh my God, I was so afraid of Marty Boy. He just lurks around. Who thought to make that robot? I'm pretty sure all Marty does is he sees that there is a spill. He doesn't clean up the spill. He sees that there's a spill and he goes, yo, spill, aisle 9. and then they put googly eyes on him to personify him, and he just scares the hell out of me every turn I take while I'm grocery shopping. I'm listening to a podcast, and then all of a sudden I see a friggin' robot pop out of nowhere, and he's like, "Hello, Dan." And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Marty, get out of here. If the robots take over, Marty's gonna be their leader. I hope we all know that. Folks, let's move on to the next Stop and Shop, right down the road at 65 Newport Ave, Quincy, Massachusetts. I like this one. It's a lot bigger. They got more stuff going on. The parking lot is very big, multiple access points and exit points. I do remember once there was a woman who was found not alive inside of her car over the summer, and she was in there for a few days just kind of, baking in the sun. How did anyone miss that? I don't know if you guys remember that story, but that is a messed up story. So I do always think about that every time I'm in this parking lot. Also, the North Quincy Stop and Shop, this is the one I worked at as a kid for like 2 weeks. I got yelled at by an old woman the first day on the job. I said, "Do you want paper or plastic?" She said, "Plastic, idiot." I was like, well, I'm not going to do this. I remember looking at the clock and it not moving at all. It is open late. I'm pretty sure they're 24 hours, at least they used to be. It's a lot bigger inside, which I like. The vibes when you walk in, I said vibes so much about the last one. The vibes here are great. It feels like you're walking into a rich person's grocery store. You know what I mean? The lighting's great. Everything feels like it's in the right place. The produce section's really nice now. They got everything in fridges. All of the graphics and the promotional materials, those are all up to date. And everything just looks fresh and new there. Like even newer than like what they thought it would be in like the early aughts. You know what I mean? This one's like been recently updated and it looks really nice inside. I feel very good when I'm in here. I don't run into a lot of people I know here. Now the problem with the Newport one is there are a lot more people that come to this one. You are getting some overflow from Boston at this one. It is busy. It is one of the busier Stop and Shops I've been to. There's a lot of room. It just, there's about like a foot more on everything you need it to have more space on that the Southern Artery one is lacking a little bit. You know what I mean? That's the problem here. Oh my God, here's the other thing. I completely forgot to bring it up. It's more at this one anyway than the Southern Artery one. The Newport one has so many Instacart people and workers going on in there, and I don't like you guys. You guys are like the Uber Eats. I understand it's a very helpful service and stuff like that, but in terms of going to the grocery store, you're making it worse for all of us because now you are just there as an employee. You're just like running through, you're like the original grocery store where you just run down the list and you're running around and jumping in front of people because you need, ramen, shrimp tempura, or whatever the hell you're looking for. Anyway, Instacart people, get the hell out of there. I don't like you guys in there. You're mucking up the works. I understand it's a good service. My buddy does it. I'm sorry, Tyler. You can also get booze at this one, which doesn't really matter to me, but it's a one-stop shop. If you're going to a barbecue, you need to get some dogs, some buns, and some vino for the whole party. I don't know what people drink. I don't drink, but I remember as a kid, we went in there to try and buy alcohol because we were like, oh my God, they sell alcohol and they have self-checkout lines. Why wouldn't we just try to do that? And then as we were in line with the beer in our hands, we saw that someone else was buying alcohol. And when you buy alcohol, someone has to come over and check your ID. So we left. But, obviously, that's a very helpful thing if you're of age, right? Kids, this place, it had Marty, but he was over in the corner. I saw him as we were leaving. With all that said, I think you guys know which one is the winner here. It is, drum roll please, 65 Newport Ave. Congratulations, you are the winner. I'm sorry, Southern Artery. Anything going on at Southern Artery is not going to be a winner. I'm so sorry. We've gone to the Wendy's, the Stop and Shop, and the Dunkin' Donuts, and also the McDonald's. I forgot about that. We've done almost all of it at Southern Artery, and none of you have won. I'm so sorry, Southern Artery, as a team, you guys just aren't cutting it anymore, okay? North Quincy's killing it. Congratulations, 65 Newport. I hope you guys had fun on this one. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with this. I hope you guys had fun. I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a go.